Hey everyone, it's a beautiful rainy day in Oregon here, and I wanted to show you a difference between an inexpensive moisture meter and a more accurate one. So this is a moisture meter that I found at an estate sale that I've been using here and there for the past year. You see it's got softwood, it's got hardwood, and so we'll put it on softwood here. We got some incense cedar slabs, probably about 2.5 inches thick, about 30 inches wide. And so we see here, this is reading at 3%, 4% if I press down. Now that's 4% outside the covered area in a very moist environment. Now, I recently bought the Wagner meters Orion 930, and I needed a more accurate reading because I couldn't quite trust this one. I didn't quite believe 3% was quite accurate. So we're gonna see how these compare. The first difference is there's no setting to change what type of wood it is. Softwoods can vary quite a bit in density, and hardwoods quite a bit in density. So the way to calibrate it with these pinless meters, it's definitely not all going to be the same. So that's the first difference. So you come up here, you click on the species, and then you find the specific setting you need to have it on. So we're looking for incense cedar 0.37, right there. So we'll dial that down to 0.37. Okay, and then go over here. We make sure it's reading 3/4 of an inch down. Go back here, and that is reading 17.8%. We'll compare here. Put this back on softwood. 3%, 17.8. Now that is quite a bit of a difference. If you were going to be using this lumber and just bringing it right inside and turning it into furniture, that would be way too wet to be using for furniture. You would be seeing a lot of movement. So these will need to take a trip to the kiln. 3%, that's absolutely almost zero moisture inside the slabs. So it's basically impossible in this sort of environment, in this sort of rainy, humid environment. 17.8%, that absolutely makes sense because the lumber is going to air dry to about 13 to 15, 17% range before you need to take it to a kiln and have it go lower. I was hesitant to get one of these because they are expensive. This one costs about $430, but you get what you pay for, okay? If you rely solely on this, and luckily I was just using kiln-dried lumber while I was using this. I wasn't trusting this entirely. I would take it to the kiln to make sure it was absolutely dry. But I know a lot of people say, well, I can't afford a moisture meter that costs $400. Well, what's less expensive, a $400 moisture meter or a table that you build with on a big slab like this, thinking that it's only 3-4%, maybe 5% moisture content that you have to replace in a year or two, or even sooner. These are nice big slabs. It takes a while for these to dry out. So this might be the sad reality that you can't use this one. You do have to save some money, maybe not get another fancy tool because this is a very important tool, which it took me a while to come to that realization, that you do need this for accurate readings. So you might ask, well, what am I supposed to do with this moisture meter then? If this is pretty much pointless and I have to use this one only. Well, I'll tell you what you do. You take this and you give it to your kid and they can play around with it. They can have all sorts of fun with it. Thanks for watching.